The most impact this week hit Australian soccer in midweek with the public resignation from the national team of the NSL's leading scorer, Charlie Egan. Egan called the running of the national team amateurish, accused the administrators of disloyalty to the players, and said the sacrifices players had to make were simply not worth it. For a man with a small frame, Charlie Egan packs a big punch. Though the Melbourne Age didn't quite go overboard with the story, soccer fans heard his cry loud and clear after the Melbourne Weekly Soccer Action ran with it at full speed. Coming just after Frank Aroch had announced his newest squad, of which Charlie was a member, the national coach was not amused.
I would prefer to have players who are concentrating on playing and not making politics and not mixing in politics.
Surely. But the player who mixed in politics this time was the top-scoring Socceroo on tour and the man who leads the NSL scoring list even as we speak.
When the initial national team came up, I was prepared to put my job, my wife, my career, whatever personal things I could achieve for myself in life, secondary to the national team. Proud for playing for Australia, being a national. But these sacrifices, I mean, when you go on tour, and I've been in among the camps, and it's just opened my eyes to, I mean, there's no loyalty coming back, you know, nothing, as far as a little bit of respect for the players. To me, it's not worth these sacrifices.
You have said many things about the tour that you objected to, that you found ready to criticize. For instance, you called it just a sightseeing tour.
The tour, I mean, we went to China, we looked at Great Walls, we looked at museums or whatever, but to me, these things should have come secondary to the training and preparation, but it just wasn't there, you know.
Are you saying there wasn't enough training, wasn't enough football?
Well, I mean, I can recall a time on tour when some players went and asked for training. They were so bored, you know, they asked for training and were turned down. Looking at the way things have, you know, have developed, like, I believe that the players could benefit out of this. I mean, you look at things, the way players are treated, finance-wise. We'll talk about finance, right? Every player in that team, not one of us is wealthy enough that we can go along there and just sacrifice everything. We need some reimbursement, right? And in my opinion, and a few other players' opinion, we're all there for the one cause. That's to help Australia get where we are. So why try and split us up? Why reward the guys on the park more than the guys that are sitting on the side, when we're preached to and told that the guys on the side are equally as important as the guys on the field? Now, in my case, in the B team, I played more games, but I'm quite happy to share with my fellow, say, Australian, sitting on the bench, the rewards that we're all working towards. But these things don't happen, and it's very easy to say, well, why don't you stand up and say something? But you're one voice that might just get dropped out of the squad and nobody listens. But maybe because I've scored a few goals and I was in the squad and I've said this, maybe people will listen, and I think the players can only benefit. The World Cup is a big thing. You know, it cuts me up to think I've knocked back a chance of playing in the World Cup. I mean, I could have been playing against a country I was brought up in, and you've no idea how big a thrill that is. It's the biggest thrill in my life to play against Rangers, so how do you think I would feel getting a chance to play against Scotland, you know? But that to me is the sacrifice I'm prepared to make, you know? I mean, it's went on in the past and it's still going on just now. It's just not good enough, you know?
As Charlie Egan spoke his mind and walked away from the national team, not all were prepared to take his reasons at face value. Some have pointed the finger at his club, saying it goes deeper, to beyond the walls of South Melbourne. Frank Aroch said the sincerity of South Melbourne has to be doubted, and even senior ASF member John Constantine seemed to concur.
We are very, very concerned, and will investigate the matter very thoroughly to ascertain whether this is the player's personal position or whether there's something else behind it. And bearing in mind, of course, that to our knowledge, there have been only two players that have indicated their inavailability, and that is Stephen Blair and Charlie Egan, both from the one club. And then I'm very concerned about it, and I'm sure that the other World Cup committee members are, and we'll investigate the matter thoroughly.
When asked about the South Melbourne connection, Charlie Egan was prepared to be more specific.
Well, I think you could put that question a bit better. You know, you could actually say, has Len McKendry put you up to some sabotage, and it's the old John Eisendorf thing again, and Lenny McKendry's been outspoken about his views on the national team. A lot of people in Melbourne will laugh at that, because as far as myself and Len McKendry, as a coach, I respect him, but socially myself and Len, you know, we never meet, and even coaching-wise, I mean, last week before the Heidelberg game, we had a difference. So Lenny McKendry's not pulling any puppet strings. This is done off my own back. I'm not canvassing to get Lenny McKendry in as coach or Eddie Thompson in as coach. I mean, two men I admire greatly, but I'm not canvassing for them, and I'm not canvassing to get Frank Carrick out. South Melbourne encourage you to speak your mind. We're not a team of little boys, you know. We speak our mind, and we've got opinions, which the way it should be. South Melbourne's opinion was that, you know, if that's what I felt, I'm entitled to say it. To me, I'm not going to be a mouthpiece for Frank Carrick slaggers or people who want to get their tuppence worth. I mean, I've opened the door to questions that can be asked for the players, and for future tours to be better organised and not take some of the crap that we've been dished out, you know. I don't think I've done anything wrong, you know.
Charlie Egan, Australian soccer's man out in the cold, and a story which, whatever cause, sent a cold shiver across our World Cup preparations. It should not be allowed to happen again. The